These are all of the worst things about traveling to China. And to all my fans on Chinese social media, this is just constructive criticism. One thing I didn't expect was that Chinese people kind of push and shove. Like, I get it, it's very crowded, but when there's clearly room for everybody to board the subway, people are like pushing and shoving and not waiting for people to deboard the subway first. And it's just like expected that if you need to get in there, you're gonna push your way in. Even in New York City, where it's the capital of chaos, we wait for everyone to get off the train first. So that's just what I'm used to. And another thing I took for granted about New York City is our 24-hour metro. They don't have that in China. If you're taking the train home in China, you need to plan to end your night around 11 or midnight, and that can be kind of stressful sometimes. That being said, there aren't gonna be rats and trash and unfortunate scenes of homeless people sleeping on the trains like there are here in New York City. When you can't take the train home from a night out in China, the good news is taking a car home only costs like $2 or $3. The bad news is those lower end ride shares are gonna smell like smoke. Like a lot of the taxis in the basic ride shares smell like cigarette smoke because the driver was just smoking a cigarette before you got in. And also the bar you were just at smelled like cigarette smoke because everyone was smoking in the bar and it's legal there. And also the hotel room you're going to, if it's like a budget hotel, it probably smells like cigarette smoke. It was just something I had to get used to. My hair and my clothes that I would wear out to the nightclubs would smell like smoke the next day. There are definitely hotels that understand that foreigners want smoke-free rooms and they can provide that. It might cost a little bit more and you can definitely book nicer ride shares. It's not even that expensive. But Chinese people definitely love to smoke in their bars and clubs. Like all of the most fun parties I went to, especially like the underground parties in China, they'll smell more like smoke than the regular nightclubs and bars. And honestly, for me, it was a bit nostalgic. It reminded me of my college days and all the underground parties I used to go to in New York City, where they definitely didn't have permits and people would be smoking indoors, which doesn't happen anywhere in New York City anymore. The other worst thing, which is also kind of the best thing about traveling to China, is the food. So let's just call it a challenge. The food in China is very challenging to get used to for a number of reasons. And don't get it twisted, some of the meals I had in China are the best meals I've had in my life and some of my favorite memories of my life.
So
but that country
how's the chicken heart?
survived a famine. Okay, like that's why they eat every part of the animal, and as an American, I'm just not used to that. And as someone who was trying to connect with Chinese people and understand their culture and history while I was there, I was not about to turn away any plate that was put on the table in front of me. So this is pig stomach, and I prefer to eat vegetarian. Like I just do not like pork that much. But it wasn't that hard to try new things when they're prepared like this. And the view is like this. And it's a revolving restaurant where Deng Xiaoping signed into action China's reform and opening up. But the hot pot in Chongqing really put me out of commission. The whole next day, I could only eat fruit and yogurt. Fruit and yogurt. I was rehabilitating my stomach from how freaking spicy it was. The Sichuan peppercorns numbed my mouth, and if I wasn't watching Cooking Bomb's videos, I really thought that I was like having an allergic reaction or something. It was so foreign to me. So thankfully, when another friend took us out to a Hunan restaurant, I knew to pace myself. I ate so much rice in between all of those spicy dishes, and I drank so much soy milk. Like my stomach was kind of dancing around, but I was on top of things. The only dish I couldn't finish was the pig's feet stew, and I was being filmed like up close by this media group, and they were interviewing me like, oh, try this Sichuan delicacy, the pig's feet stew. It's super gelatinous, you know, they cook it super, super tender, and you just suck the meat off the bones of the pig's foot. And I ate as much as I could, but I had to pass that to somebody else. Most Americans are just not going to be used to that, but I was traveling with my friend who's from the Dominican Republic, and he loved it. He loved all the chicken feet they had everywhere. I ate a few chicken's feet, but it's not really my favorite. And the spicy food was a little bit too much for him at times too. The Hunan food that we had, I was pacing myself, but he wasn't, and it really made him kind of sick for a few days. Another hard thing about traveling to China is the language barrier. The translation apps just do not work very well. I think that the languages are just so different in how they're structured. You will need a translation app, and you will need to learn how to communicate in short, direct sentences. For me, I speak Japanese, so it was pretty easy for me to memorize characters like the names of places so I could get around town easily. But most Americans just cannot retain Chinese characters. It's so foreign to us. Thankfully, all of the metro signs are in English and Chinese now, which I didn't expect, and that made things so much easier. Also, a lot more young people in China speak English because the government requires students in high school to learn English for the Gaokao, the college entrance exam. You get tested on English proficiency. The last thing that was really difficult about traveling to China was the Great Firewall. I had to get on Western social media for my work, and while I was there, TikTok was being banned, so I was scrambling to figure out my whole life on Western social media while I couldn't access it. And a lot of the VPNs are just not reliable. Like, I had 4 or 5 VPN subscriptions by the end of the trip, and I will comment below which VPNs actually worked all the time for me. But honestly, if I didn't need to be on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube for work, then I think I might have appreciated the time away from Western social media. It feels like our algorithms in the West are just trained to make everybody stressed and depressed. While I was there, I just stayed disconnected from the West as much as I could, and my mental health was never better. The last real challenges of traveling to China are the visa and the flight. Like, for the visa, make sure that you give yourself enough time ahead of your trip because it just takes some time and effort to apply for. That being said, you can do up to 10 days visa free in China now, but you just have to make sure that your destination after your trip is different from where you came from, like it's a transit type situation. But my visa lasts for 10 years now, and I can stay for up to 60 days at a time, which is really awesome. But the flight is no joke. It just takes so freaking long, and it's not cheap. I don't have any advice for this. I just made sure I brought a good book to read and some work to do so the flight didn't feel like a complete waste of an entire day. And I would just get up and wash my face and brush my teeth a lot. Does any airline want to collab? Like, I will make a really great vlog about how incredible it is to travel in first class with the little layback seats. Like, I really wanted it for that flight, but that is out of my budget. But what was in my budget was this beautiful shirt I got from my friend in Shenzhen, Stephanie Taylor. She does custom fit menswear and women's wear in Shenzhen. If you want to support a small woman-owned business with great prices while you're in China, check the caption for her contact information.